On this day, 1227 years ago, the Night of the Three Caliphs took place in the Abbasid capital of Baghdad. The old Caliph al-Hadi died, Haroun Alraschid became the new ruler, and his son al-Mahmud was born. 6 columns, 3 on either side, pure silver, underpropped the rich throne of the massive ore, from which down-drooped in many a floating fold, engarlanded and diapered with inwrought flowers a cloth of gold. Thereon his deep eye laughter stared with merriment of kingly pride, sole star of all that plays in time. I saw him in his golden prime, the good Haroun Alraschid. Alfred, Lord Tennyson, Recollections of the Arabian Nights. There is a fairy tale prince from 1001 Nights whose name immediately springs to mind when the word Caliph is uttered. It is probably Haroun Alraschid. The writings of the Frankish chroniclers Einhard and Notker the Stammerer made his name popular in the West during the early Middle Ages, when Charlemagne's embassy returned to Aachen, laden with gifts from fabulous Baghdad, the elephant Abul-Abbas among them, a sophisticated water clock, mechanical knights, things and tales that might have appeared to the worthy Franks like the fabrics from another planet, even though the Carolingian Renaissance just had reached its own peak of civilization after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. When Sir Richard Burton translated the Book of 1,000 Nights and the Night, roughly 1,000 years later, the stories about Haroun Alraschid, an integral part of the cycle, found a fertile ground to sprout the imagination of the stern, just, but sometimes a bit capricious ruler who ranges through the bazaars of Baghdad at night in disguise to hear what his subjects think and say about him. In fact, Haroun Alraschid had his brother murdered in the Night of the Three Caliphs to get on the throne, and his patrons and backers, the mighty Persian Barmakid family, whose influence and prudent stewardship as viziers had made the Abbasid Empire what it was at the end of the 8th century, soon learned what a viper they had nurtured in their bosom. The Arabian Nights tell the echo of their downfall. By 803, the Barmakids had indeed fallen from Haroun Alraschid's craze, probably because they had become too rich and powerful for his taste, didn't approve of his alleged debauchery, and were not respectful enough. Grand Vizier Jafar, who was not the scoundrel at all he is depicted as these days, and most of his family were either executed or imprisoned, and their vast riches were seized by the Caliph, and the decline of the empire began. The legendary Caliph is not very popular in the Eastern world. Nonetheless, Haroun Alraschid had even expanded the splendor of Baghdad during his reign, and the city flourished as a place of trade with goods from Spain to India and China available, a center of learning with a famous Beit al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, and luxuries, making the metropolis second to none in the world. The Caliph didn't spend much of his time there, though, transferring his capital to the Euphrates at Ar-Raqqa, close to the front lines with his archenemy, the Eastern Roman Empire. The friendly receival of Charlemagne's embassy at his court might well be seen under this light, since the Frankish Empire was constantly at loggerheads with the Byzantines over who was the rightful emperor and who was the head of the church, the Pope or the emperor in Constantinople. However, Haroun Alraschid gave the crisis-ridden late 8th century Byzantines one thrashing after the other, until his own hinterland rebelled under relatives of the Barmakids, and he died campaigning, possibly poisoned, in Tush, near Mashhad in northeastern Iran in 809. His decision to divide his empire after his death among his 3 sons proved to be fatal, and led to the Caliphs of the Caliphate.